This tier list is simply made to rank all the units that can counter the chariots effectively in the battlefield. Welcome again to another episode from Elite Legions. This one is dedicated to help all players and teach everyone how to stop the new chariot effectively. I will simply start with this tier list and quickly explain some few key points. So starting with the first unit, we have the Outriders. This unit will not be able to stop the chariots unless you equip them with a very rare doctrine for the javelins. This doctrine renders the enemy stunned in place for 1.5 seconds when the enemy is hit by a javelin of yours. So every single time a javelin hits the enemy, it will hold that enemy for 1.5 seconds. I think you know where I'm going with this. And what makes the Outriders so unique and stand out from all other javelins is the simple fact that they can throw javelins on demand. As soon as you press V, as soon as you press attack, they will throw their javelins. You do not need skills. You do not need the cooldown. This doctrine works on every single javelin they throw, whether it was skill number 1, skill number 2, or simple V. All of them will stop the chariots in place. The second unexpected unit is the Incendiary Archers. Because guess what? The flame, one single flame arrow is able to stop the chariot in place. For some reason, I don't know, but it just happens. And the third unit in the double S tier will be the Orochi Samurai, where you need to time your first skill very well, but if you do so, you will one-shot the chariot. For the S tier, Tercios and Warring Archers are really good. The only problem is that they only deal with the chariots when it's alone, not among other units, meaning their firepower is barely enough to focus the chariot and finish it off alone, okay? So keep that in mind. If the chariot is engaging you from a flank, from a low distance, or through tons of units, Tercios and Warring Archers will struggle to bring it down in time. When it comes to the E tier, I want to stop here for a minute, especially when it comes to the Phalanx, because in my previous videos, I did build the Phalanx with the stun on brace doctrine. And so many of you did comment on that, saying why they don't need it and etc. Also, I have seen other content creators saying the same, saying that the Phalanx do not need this doctrine because they can stop cavalry. And this statement is partially true. Indeed, the Phalanx do not need this doctrine to stop normal cavalry. In all of their formation, like 3 formation, they are fine. But you will start to notice the difference if you did the loose formation. The loose formation is simply pressing C and spreading out your phalanx as much as possible before bracing. In that particular formation, you will find something really intriguing. A single phalanx in that loose formation will stop 1 horse. If you do equip the doctrine, which is the stun on brace doctrine, each soldier of your phalanx will be able to stop 3 horses. Now let's transfer this piece of information to the chariots. So many of you have seen videos of the chariots penetrating right through phalanx like butter. But guess what? If you do equip this doctrine, your phalanx will be able to stop the chariots. Especially if the chariot is coming toward your phalanx head on with full speed, because the more momentum the chariot will have, the more damage your pikes will deal. So for all 3 pikes that did actually hold up against the chariots, we have the Phalanx, the Fortebracios, and the Bike Militia. And here is another note: the Bike Militia do need their mastery. If you play them with the doctrine without mastery, they will die. So don't do that. However, keep in mind one little very important thing. If the chariot manages to flank your pikes are useless. And that's why all the pikes are not in the S tier, they are in the A tier when it comes to stopping the chariots. This tier list is simply made to rank all the units that can counter the chariots effectively in the battlefield. When it comes to the Rattan Bikemen, they have a very nice ability to slow down the chariots, making it a lot easier for you to pin it down as a hero or even knock the enemy hero off. The slow of the Bikemen is really so annoying. And when it comes to the Obelisks have a very good DPS that matches that of the Waring Archers. The only thing is you need a little bit of timing and the chariot to be alone. That is the only case that you can bring it down with the hero. When it comes to the Shinji, you need to equip the cavalry stop doctrine on their bombs. So if you have this doctrine equipped, when you throw bombs and it lands nearby any cavalry or the chariot, it will stop it. However, keep in mind it's really hard to land those bombs on a fast moving chariot. Last but not least will be the B tier. And some of you will be wondering, why did I put the longbows there? Well, the longbows, if you have the mastery on, they will be able to slow down their target. So they are here solely because of the slow. The pistoliers deal very high damage, so if someone else can stop the chariots, you can go in with your pistoliers and just finish it off with one skill. Just keep in mind that if the chariot is max, like full HP, your pistoliers will not be able to finish it off with just one skill. So keep that also in mind, they need extra help. For the Imperial Arquebusers, after the recent update, they fire in volleys, making them a very good DPS unit. However, they cannot really stop the chariot in time because they need to do 2 volleys, like 2 full volleys to take the chariot down. Adding to that, the time you need to get into the volley formation makes the unit in the B tier, because you will not be able to quickly react unless you know the chariot will pass through this way. When it comes to the hero weapons, which weapon do you think will be the best to stop the chariot? Well, all of them can stop it, but the angle of the attack does matter. So attacking the chariot from the sides differs from attacking it from behind and differs from attacking it head-on from the front, from the cavalry side, from the 4 horses side. As you will see, Vanadashi can do this pretty easily with his ult, especially if he has the epic set. Same goes for the short sword, same goes for the long sword. However, with the long sword, I really suggest, if you don't have the epic set of a long sword, do not engage the chariot head-on. Just take it from the side or take it from behind. It will work. For the Pike actually can knock out the hero with 2 skills, not just one. His ult will knock out the hero, and his 4th phase of the stab skill will knock out the hero. He is the only character that has 2 skills that can knock out the hero, by the way. When it comes to the longbow, only the explosive arrow, his ultimate, will knock out the hero. And by the way, same angles apply to the musket. You will see that throwing the musket head on will not really knock out the hero, so try to avoid that. Always try to throw your bomb or your explosive arrow from the sides or from behind. One weapon I forgot to put in the tier list will be the Spartan, or the spear and shield weapon, but you will find it in the video. So the Spartan is only able to knock out the hero if he is this close and doing his ultimate right into the back of the hero. If you try it from any other angle, it will not work. Now I shall leave you with the rest of the weapons testing and some other units that you might like to test out. I have tried them all out for you, so you don't have to. And that was it. See you soon in the battlefield, Warlord.